Volume 3 issues directly explore the subconscious. In these episodes, I provide you with techniques to uncover your own deeper mind content, then illustrate what to look for and show you how to change. But these episodes require focus and undivided concentration. Properly applied, they deliver you deep, personal insights into life and your own consciousness beyond anything you've experienced or can find elsewhere. I suggest you only delve into Volume 3 pieces when you have the time and a quiet setting where you can focus and concentrate. Part 5 of Volume 3 explains two powerful tools for the inner search: self-hypnosis and ideomotor responses. The Essence of Reality explores how the psyche, which you are, creates the reality you encounter. Good evening, or whatever it might be. You found the Essence of Reality, presenting a unique view of human consciousness, of your mind, and the nature of your being. We explore life's real function here, well beyond the dim scope of religion and science. Those old views distort your perception of reality and its flow. Insights here clarify it. You create your life's real qualities: health, success, relationships. No other source does but you. To see just how that works, stick around for this one and come back again. We have a great deal of substance to cover, particularly in this multi-part issue, and it will need your undivided attention. I suggest you view this episode, particularly when you have some time and can focus without interruption. Consciousness is the topic of all Volume 3 clips. In this extended 5th issue in Volume 3, after considerable preliminaries, we explore two key tools for delving into your deeper mind to determine specific content: self-hypnotism and ideomotor responses. Be sure to check into the predecessor on meditation and the one to follow on dream analysis. Meditation, a practice used to quiet the mind, provides a great start to the exploration of consciousness, but meditation, even the prized specialized Eastern versions, can only get you so far down the road. Until you fully grasp your psychic connection to all you encounter, you will continue to see yourself as separate from events and relationships you encounter. Despite any quelling of the mind from meditating, your subconscious will still host a wide range of common notions, shared beliefs, and definitions that separate you from life. Having absorbed these ideas from parents and culture where you grew up, you'll have learned that you need to manipulate the world to get it to work right. Much of the mind's natural turmoil and tension stem from constant evaluation of things, planning and scheming, fearing and fighting people, fighting conditions in the world you encounter. Meditation alone can only bypass the mind's beliefs and learned procedures. It can't eliminate them. They will continue to populate deeper portions of your mindset from which they will contribute to real issues in life. Thus, meditation serves only to cover the mind's calculating nature, its need to plan and scheme. Tools presented here in this extended clip allow you to delve into mind content, actually facilitate your means to find and remove elements of mind that negate and neutralize your will. Let's be really clear on that. I've explained that issues in your health, your success, and the quality of your relationships are all rooted in mechanisms within your complex mindset, your subconscious. To change them, you need tools that allow a much deeper look into the subconscious stores and values than your everyday rational focus can provide, and techniques that allow you to change them. Meditation can't purge the subconscious of such elements. After illustrating self-hypnosis and ideomotor responses as tools to explore your psyche in this issue, the next episode will focus on dreams, another window into your deeper subconscious. Then we'll list exactly what mechanisms you're looking for within the psyche and see how to change them. Remember, the goal is twofold. One is to greatly improve your life by removing mechanisms from your mindset that lead to real problems. The second is keener awareness of your inner-outer connection. You grow in awareness by seeing clearly how you yourself have improved outer experience simply by changing your own psyche's content and by explicitly deleting old notions that are false. Tom Nair here, as always, exploring consciousness. Though this time, you'll be learning just how to explore yourself. Perspectives here add to my website, my books, and many talks I've given to open-minded listeners. Indeed, techniques in this issue are detailed in my first book, The Essence of Reality, and on my website. Both provide added insight should you need it. My own personal inner journey using these same techniques led me to seeing with great clarity the oneness of things, the inner-outer connection of mind with reality that drives real life, yours as well as my own. Clearly aware of that connection, you can improve real life by finding and changing the inner roots that you have underlying outer problems. Volume 3 here directly addresses that clear awareness. These clips cover techniques you can use to explore the subconscious. Why would you very much want to do that? Just as I said, to improve your own life and gain first-hand awareness as to how consciousness manifests its reality. The rational mind can be a very impressive force. Human personality can be highly creative, exceedingly astute, funny, expansive, and brilliant. Your own personal intellect deals with many factors, a wide range of emotions, interpersonal relationships, career efforts, entertainment options, music, transportation issues, maintenance of a complex body, financial matters, on and on. The modern rational self is quite a formidable force. But rational functions of mind ride an even greater realm of psychological construction, drawing on its deeper subconscious store of vast amounts of information in order to function at all. Much of that inner psyche is invisible, unless and until you go looking. Any decision you make, any course you plan, any action you take, indeed, speaking itself, must dip conscious focus into the grand store of interconnected subconscious information you hold. Your emotional responses, your goals and wishes, your basic interaction with the world and with other people, all these ride a complex store of information and structured values that you accumulate while growing up. And they ride as well characteristics you brought with you into life. Tastes in music, clothes, subject matter, friendship types, career, and so forth. Elements of you that are personal and individualized. So, as formidable as the intellect, the rational mind might be, it pulls from and totally relies on deeper functionality of the full psyche in order to deal with life. The subconscious then is remarkably vast in the amount of information it stores. All of your memories are recorded there, along with values derived from lessons, not only facts and figures. Within the subconscious are structures of belief and hierarchies of sorted understanding, not only of raw data, but of conclusions, of implications, even of fallacies, hogwash, superstition, and propaganda. You derive understanding of life from far more than lessons learned, but also from how you were treated, how people around you interrelate, and from stories, movies, cartoons you saw while growing up. You have access to the subconscious, of course, normally through daily life. You call up memories and meaning continually through every day. But you also can look directly at those deeper stores. Explore your own basis for understanding. Take a step back and look at yourself. Sort out truth from fallacy and reprogram the deeper mind. You should do that, actually, because much of what you were taught and what you otherwise deduced is not only inaccurate, often entirely invalid, but also leads to negativity in your life. From decades of exploring my own psyche and its deeper levels, I can assure you, you have access to all the information you need to gain dominion over your life. Indeed, much deeper parts of the psyche undergird the subconscious, with which we'll be dealing. What the field of psychology refers to as the unconscious, that realm of mind connects you intimately with your body and the world. Within the unconscious exist vast stores of hierarchical information concerning each of the trillions of cells in your body, what and how they are doing, how they interact. There, too, are formulated connections to the actions and whereabouts of others, links to nature and ties to, actually, the universe and beyond the visual. Now, you don't need to know all that stuff, or any of the deep unconscious, actually. How you relate to your body and the world around you is fully leveraged via information you do have access to, the subconscious. Beyond that, your awareness is not only not required, but you would be fully swamped with all the vast array of information that flows beneath your focus. My insight into the workings of the mind rests on decades of delving within to do exactly what I propose you do. Delete negating inner elements to improve your life, and through that process gain personal awareness of your full nature and confidence in your ability to change it. How my message differs from psychologists and psychiatrists is significant and profound. Medical data in the mind sciences is invariably extracted secondhand from clinical observation and case studies, from information passed along through educational institutions. Therapists will observe you and compare your problems and indications to accumulated knowledge, even though you are unique unto yourself, and they'll want a lot of money from you to help you cope. They think consciousness stems from brain function and will be trying to help you adjust your emotional response to experience difficulties, to compromise yourself, to deal with a tough world. My insight is firsthand. I understand the sorting of data within the subconscious, how it interrelates, how it blends to manifest your life, because I've experienced it and explored it deeply and directly. I've personally navigated the depths of the subconscious and changed mine for the better. I recognize that consciousness itself, not the brain, consciousness itself is the basis of your nature, that your real life stems from your own inner nature. So I'm providing you the tools to personally delve into your own mind to change key elements, not so you can cope with difficulties, but so that you can change real life situations you attract to conform to your own will. And I don't want your money. Big difference. If you ever get to wanting scientific proof or spiritual confirmation, you'll have to look elsewhere. I'm explaining how the mind and your life work, and doing it so in a depth well beyond what you'll find from conventional sources. When you see for yourself, you don't need external confirmation from academic or big-name spiritual experts. So, where were we? Yes, right, the unconscious. Beneath that is what Carl Jung first began to recognize as the collective unconscious. That's where you and your explicit life track interface with all other entities, melding goals and difficulties, large-scale mass events, and all other consequences of life. No, you don't have direct access to that either, although some people can open their sensitivity to such overall information. That info is where psychic readings come from. Glimpses of the stores of information on which lives flow, past, present, and future, all bundled together. I know a bit about that too, as I gave psychic readings for a while years ago. A great deal of info is held there to be had, but that's another topic. So the mind is vast and complex. But that isn't a problem, as you will only be looking for specifics involved with your own focus. And that will unfold as you address one problem area at a time. You know, the road and street system in any location, any city, can be very complex. But no matter where you go, you only need the route that gets you from where you are to your destination. And that's pretty simple. Likewise, techniques here are meant to pinpoint information associated with your target issue. Wow, a lot of preliminaries here, aren't there? Well, we're not here playing patty cake or passing out New Age grins and happy faces. We're looking at deep, serious topics. Before you go diving in a swimming hole, you would need to know some things about it, wouldn't you? Likewise, you'd better understand these things about your deeper psyche before you dive into your own mind. What you are ultimately looking for is specific information held in your subconscious. Two aspects of how the mind works inhibit your quest to find that info. First, the rational mind is very good at fooling itself, in part because of flawed beliefs and info residing in the subconscious itself. You can reach altogether wrong conclusions, which seem sound and well supported. Tools used to delve into the psyche need to circumvent the intellect, although ultimately it is you, the rational ego self, that will be doing the searching and running the show. The second factor inhibiting the inner search is common thinking. Much of our typical daily regard for the mind ignores or fears the subconscious. Whoever told you that you could dive into the deeper self and change things for the better? Where in school did you ever study it? Whoever taught you self-hypnosis or explained your connection to life's real events? Not your parents, not schools, not churches for certain. So much of the difficulty you will face early on is from your own reluctance, even fear. Isn't the deep unconscious supposed to hold primitive drives and animalistic tendencies? Well, it doesn't. In fact, it isn't an it at all. The subconscious is you, and you can only gain great benefit by learning about yourself, how your own mind works. Think of it this way. You can drive a car perfectly well without knowing the transmission, how it works, the engine, the anti-lock brakes. You don't have to know anything about them, but if you do know those things, you can maintain your car much better and drive without worry. Better performance, better efficiency. The subconscious is like those mechanical details. The better you know it, the better you can operate your life, because whether you recognize it or not, you're the only driver, and your life is your responsibility. So here are two techniques for delving into your own psyche. One meant to focus your attention on specific details of self. The other meant to retrieve yes or no answers directly from the subconscious. A subsequent issue will specify just what you need to look for within. This one explains how to look. For now, let's explore the tools, self-hypnosis and ideomotor responses. I perfected my own use of self-hypnotism from a workshop, plus a book by Leslie Leckrone titled Self-Hypnotism. Leckrone, a pioneer in self-hypnosis, emphasized the body-mind connection, clarifying a number of inner mechanisms that corresponded to health issues. In my applying these early on in my journey, I realized there were a couple key elements he missed. We'll look at these in depth in issue 7 of volume 3. And I realized beyond the scope of Lecrone's observation that these same inner building blocks, so to speak, were behind issues beyond the body. I came to see that my mind was not only connected to my body, but to life events and relationship issues as well. Let's look at a basic induction technique for self-hypnosis. Remember, you aren't looking for some altered state of being or some other realm to travel to. You're simply shutting out interference to your pointed focus while in this realm so it can be directed within. Prior to your session, be very clear about what you want to focus on. It may be a health issue, headaches, or an allergy, some illness some illness or muscle problem, start with something minor. What you'll be looking for within your subconscious will be associated mechanisms that contribute to that problem. These, as I mentioned, will be specified in Part 7 of Volume 3. Often, self-hypnosis practitioners promote use of the technique to implant new patterns into the subconscious, like changing bad habits or revising one's outlook. The difficulty is, and this is really important, the difficulty is without clearing away inner roots underlying real issues. Trying to implant new behavior only sets up other problems. The subconscious is literal and all-inclusive. It doesn't simply drop deeper mechanisms that underlie an issue. You have to specifically tell it to. So here we'll be much more thorough. When a specific problem is the focus, first you'll be looking for information underlying the situation. For example, if you want to stop smoking, simply planting a distaste for cigarettes or the negative of that action won't accomplish much. But if you find the underlying causes of smoking and eliminate them, the problem will go away following the expulsion of the roots to it. Let me repeat. If you try to impose a new behavior on top of an established one, the underlying problematic elements will simply find a new outlet. A smoking habit, for example, can be started during youth as rebellion, trying to look grown up, look tough, to go along with peers, emulate movie stars, or otherwise motivated. If you would quell smoking without removing those underlying issues, you would simply increase inner conflict. And subsequently, if you can manage to stop smoking at all, convert the smoking habit to a replacement, like chocolate indulging or overeating. Let's look at the induction technique then. First and foremost, create a situation of undisturbed quiet where you can spend 10 to 15 minutes looking inward without noise or interruption. Have clearly in mind the problem you wish to explore. In a comfortable chair or sofa where you can slouch without falling out, plopping onto the floor might tend to break your concentration. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Slow, deep breath. Let it out fully and slowly. Focus first on a couple slow breaths and start at the top of your head and relax all scalp, forehead, and eye muscles. Picture each and tell yourself quietly within your mind to relax. Move focus to each set of muscles down through your head, neck, and torso, step by step, focusing and relaxing. As you proceed, you tell yourself inwardly, through your mind voice, that each step down, you are more and more relaxed, more and more focused on your thoughts. Each step you reiterate how you focus more deeply, fall deeper and deeper into relaxation. Take a slow breath between muscle sets. Work your way down the body. Let your head and shoulders droop and slouch. That's fine. The whole technique is meant to fully disengage body tension and focus inward. Once into a deeply focused state, and you'll know you're there, you can proceed to explore the trouble area that you're currently putting focus on. Not all people make best use of the same induction scheme. Instead of relaxing each set of muscles, you can picture yourself on an elevator with the indicator taking you down one floor at a time. Each floor, you tell yourself you get deeper and deeper into relaxation. Once into a deep state of concentration, you will indeed know you're there. You can query for information on roots to the problem you're dealing with. Also, as you get used to using self-hypnosis, you'll much more easily attain a state of relaxed focus. At some point, you won't need the induction procedure. Part of that has to do simply with practice. And part of it has to do with shedding the notion that the subconscious is somehow elsewhere or a special realm of consciousness that has to be achieved via some esoteric induction procedure. The subconscious, you'll soon realize, is an aspect of you, not something you have, but a part of what you are. As you proceed, you'll break down any further barriers, specifically with the same autosuggestion technique we'll review later. If you don't find this particular induction procedure too effective, do look around. Many such induction sequences are offered by numerous websites and other sources. How you achieve a state of focused relaxation isn't nearly as important as what you do while in that state, and that will be addressed in Part 7. Highly useful, along with your personal development of a self-hypnosis technique, is a tool long used in various psychological and metaphysical practices to query the subconscious directly. The subconscious, as noted earlier, isn't some alter ego, some other personality hiding within, promoting its own agenda. It is information. Basically, however complex and interwoven, stacked with meaningful categories, subconscious info is hierarchical and interdependent. Most important to note is the fully literal nature of the subconscious. While your emotional responses arise out of inner feelings, the subconscious itself has no feelings, no preferences or bias attached. It doesn't judge or second guess. It just stores gobs of information in specific ways, and it responds to needs and queries of the rational self. This characteristic of being literal and precise is vital to know about the subconscious. The minus side can be that, given various input over a lifetime with conflicting values and meaning, the subconscious will store all input, along with the conflict. Much of your difficulty in life will be traceable back to conflict-based experience and learning early on in childhood. As an example, you likely learned early on that God makes things happen. Parents and others shape events. Bacteria can cause illness, and luck or chance can bend events. These cannot all be true. But in the typical subconscious, they'll be stored as definitions, and the resultant conflict will be held as well. And that conflict will invariably affect your life, unavoidably. But the plus side of the literal nature of the subconscious is a real plus, if you make use of it. Given a technique and focus, you can query the subconscious for any pertinent piece of information you need to know, and it will respond. Remember though, it's always excruciatingly literal. It will respond to your questions as asked. So make sure, as you employ the following technique, that you phrase your questions precisely as you mean them. Doubtless the most powerful, reliable tool you can use to delve into the subconscious, particularly when in conjunction with the focus of self-hypnosis, is the technique called Ideomotor responses. By having the subconscious directly respond through involuntary muscle movement, you can bypass the rational self with its biases and flawed conclusions. Here, using a simple technique, holding a pendulum or eliciting twitches in your fingers during self-hypnosis, you can get yes and no responses to queries. And you can extract vital information from your own deeper stores. Ideomotor responses have been used in many ways for ages. Dowsing, for example, psychological testing, kinesiology as a healing tool. These rely on subconscious control of muscle responses. However, pendulums are also used by spiritualists for communication with the deceased, or to try to obtain psychic answers to, who knows, tomorrow's lottery numbers or somebody's affectionate inclinations. Not what we're talking about. In this instance, we aren't looking to communicate with dear departed Uncle Fred or some Indian spirit guide. We aren't looking for secret info to future predictions. Uncle Fred should be off doing something else by now, and if a former Native American, now dead, still thinks of himself as a 12th century shaman, well, I wouldn't recommend following his advice anyway. No disembodied spirits, no occult mysteries. You're just querying your subconscious for information and using a simple tool to bypass your gullible self. Using a pendulum is remarkably easy. Hang some weight on the end of a string and hold it in your hand. You don't need a crystal or a frog leg, just something heavy enough to pull the string taut. Sitting at a table, rest your elbow and hold the weight in front of you. Relax and even go through a bit of self-hypnosis induction to establish a focus on the pendulum. There are 4 possible movements of the pendulum: back and forth sideways, away from you and toward you, those are the 2 simplest, clockwise and counterclockwise are the others. Don't consciously move the pendulum. You will know that you're not moving it, but don't resist involuntary movement either. Now, ask your subconscious for a yes answer. Concentrate on the affirmative. Think, yes, yes. Suggest that you're yielding control of your wrist and hand to your subconscious and would like a yes movement. Concentrate on that. Focus on it. Whatever direction the pendulum moves becomes yes. Now ask for a no movement. 2 other possibilities exist. Your subconscious doesn't know the answer, or it has some resistance to answering. Establish these as other responses, likely the circular movements. It's possible to ask a question that would receive both yes and no as an answer. That will likely be some diagonal movement, or sometimes when I was using the pendulum, I would get a yes and a no response sort of alternately. So practice this. Ask things you know the answer to, but again, don't move the pendulum voluntarily. Just hold your hand steady, but also don't counteract the movement except to stop the movement so you can ask the next question. Once you've established reliable yes and no answers, then you are ready to query the subconscious on meaningful items. And for that, you can make use of the mechanisms reviewed in Part 7 of this Volume 3 series, or look up further information in my first book, The Essence of Reality, or my Angle 2 of the website of the same name, The Essence of Reality. So that's an introduction to tools for exploring your subconscious. All aspects of life, things that aren't going your way, await your attention. Let's end this episode with this vital observation. Your life unfolds in response to your composite nature, what you are. Action you take, that is what you do, only falls within the confines of what you are. That might seem counterintuitive, but it's how life works. If you want to revise unsatisfactory elements of your life for the better, your leverage is always within. Meditation alone can only bypass the mind's beliefs and learned procedures. It can't eliminate them. Tools presented here in this extended clip allow you to delve into mind content to find and remove elements of mind that negate and neutralize your will. The goal is twofold. One is to greatly improve your life. The second is keener awareness of your inner-outer connection. Rational functions of mind ride an even greater realm of psychological construction, drawing on its deeper subconscious store of vast amounts of information in order to function at all. You have access to the subconscious, of course, normally through daily life, but you also can look directly at those deeper stores. Take a step back and look at yourself. Sort out truth from fallacy and reprogram the deeper mind. The subconscious is always excruciatingly literal. It will respond to your questions as asked. Using a pendulum is just querying your subconscious for information. Your life unfolds in response to your composite nature. If you want to revise unsatisfactory elements of your life for the better, your leverage is always within.